There's something about being an artist that invites hard times. Sometimes the issues can be financial. Sometimes the issues can be physical. A lot of times it's mental. Sometimes it's just the middle of winter and it's cold outside and there's ice everywhere. And ice is dangerous. Ice will actively kill you. This is my not so clever way of saying fuck ice. Now, in my experience, there are two ways that creatives cope with hard times. Sometimes your creativity goes to the floor and you're doing everything you can just to survive. Other times, your creativity goes to the roof and you're making some of the best things you've ever made. Now, one of these scenarios is actively worse than the other, and it's not the one that you think. I'm going to make it make sense. So if you're trying to figure out what this monstrosity is, I'm attempting to make my own Murphy bed. We live in a small 2-bedroom apartment, and we're in the process of trying to make it as modular as we can be. And step one is turning our bedroom into a convertible studio space. And that means Murphy bed, hopefully. Now, have I made a Murphy bed before? No. Do I have any discernible carpentry skills? No. Have I drawn up any plans? Also no. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So 2025 was a lot, to say the least. If I'm being honest, 2024 wasn't much better. We had a couple family members with mental health episodes, but above all, we had a lot of financial issues. We are a house that, in a lot of ways, lives and dies on our creative checks, whether it's books or other opportunities that come along. And we were expecting some checks that were delayed, and it kind of just threw everything off. And all that culminated in an eviction notice last year. Thankfully, we're in a better space now, and that's also why we're in the new space as well. But things are getting better. But during that time, I was not really motivated to do a lot of creating. I was essentially in survival mode, trying to figure out the next step to keep the lights on, literally and figuratively, as well as just keeping the family together. It wasn't much space to go out and say, I want to go on a photo walk, or, there wasn't a lot of poetry or essays coming out of me at that point, because all of my bandwidth was going into making sure we were okay. The dogs are killing me. What do y'all want? So what do you do when you're in a space where it feels like it's literally impossible to work in your craft? The short answer is give yourself some grace. If you are struggling with anything, whether it's financial or mental, if you're trying to just survive and, make it to the next day, it's understandable that you may not be in a space to be your utmost creative. Give yourself room to breathe. Recognize you're human. You're more than just a creator machine. You're not AI. The world does affect you, and that's okay. The second thing is, as much as you can, make anything. Doodle, write a haiku, make a TikTok video. Whatever you can do to keep that spark alive, that creative piece of yourself that exists, do that. Because in my experience, that doesn't go away, but the creative muscle definitely atrophies. And at some point, life will level out and you will want to get back to making the things that you make. And as much as you can keep flexing that little creative muscle, just a little bit, it's going to help you when you come out the other side. I think the other thing that helps is find something that you absolutely have no experience in or just bad at, whether it's painting or singing, pick up an instrument. Anything you can do that is brand new to you, that has zero expectations, go for it. I'm making a Murphy bed. I have no clue what I'm doing. Actually, this channel is a byproduct of that same notion. I started this channel because I didn't know how to make videos or vlog or any of those other things. It was a space for me to be creative while dealing with the stuff I was dealing with at the time and not being so caught up in my actual passions, which is writing and photography. The YouTube thing came as a way to cope. And now it's something I love to do as well. Find something new, suck at it, and don't care. It's very helpful. I think the other thing that helps is just surrounding yourself with as many creative people as possible. I'm fortunate that my wife is an amazing writer. She's been a New York Times bestseller, all the things. My daughter is a singer-songwriter. My son is also a photographer and just and sponge for music and stuff like that. Like I think he's gonna be a music critic one day. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna be New Fantano or somebody along those lines. Not academics though. Also, fuck academics. There's something about hanging out with creative people that makes it actively hard to not create. Whether it's because you just get inspired by what they're doing or there's opportunities to collaborate, whatever it is, being around creative people will ensure that that spark stays alive. It will make sure that whenever you come out of what you're coming out of, even if you don't have an idea of what you want to do, you have the drive and the notion to do something. Now, on the flip side, you have the scenario where you become hyper creative in the face of hard times. And honestly, I think this is the more dangerous scenario of the two for a couple of reasons. Firstly, creatives love the idea of high output, especially if it's of quality. We will push ourselves to the extreme to put out as many pieces of whatever we make as we can and ultimately burn ourselves out in all the worst ways. As a society, we also enjoy the idea of the struggling artist, whether that's financially, the starving artist, or the creative genius. We often talk about, I think it's a 26-year-old club or 26 club, where you have, especially in music, these geniuses who died at that age. Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, et cetera, et cetera. And the notion is that their genius and their brilliance were so incredible that they just couldn't handle it and ended up losing their lives. That is a dangerous, dangerous narrative to put out there. My wife likes to point out the fact that they died at the same age is a coincidence, not an honor. And I have to agree with her. Now, I want to say it was about 8 or 9 years ago that through a series of unfortunate events, I ended up being homeless. I spent some time sleeping on trains and in train stations, and I ultimately ended up in a shelter for some months until I found a dusty little room for rent in this old lady's basement. To this day, she has no idea that she actually saved my life. At least I don't think she has. If she's watching this, you saved my life. Thank you. I actually wrote an essay about all this on Medium some time back. I'll put a link in the description. I think it's worth reading. If you want to check it out, by all means. And if you want to subscribe to my Medium, you can do that as well. So I found myself in a space where I was extremely lonely. And not because I couldn't have gotten help. I have friends in a network of people for whom I could have asked for their couch or some financial assistance. But if you're unaware, one of the biggest hurdles to being homeless is shame. I say all to say that my biggest crutch at that time was my writing, and the beginnings of my photography was all cell phone stuff, but I started getting into capturing these images because when you're homeless, you spend a lot of time walking. There was one day I walked, I think, 13 miles in the snow just because everything was closed. Sitting still is expensive, folks, just in case you didn't know. But therein lies the danger and the issue of being in that space. I was in the spot where I was reliant on being in pain and being sad and being lonely to make what I was making. You get to a point where you stop seeking help because you're making these things and you want to stay in that pocket and keep making, essays and paintings and stuff that reflect your situation because they're fucking good. I honestly think I fell into a period of time where it felt more beneficial to be suffering and to be damn near destitute than to correct my situation and work on fixing my life, because I was afraid of what would happen if I was actually happy. How would I make these beautiful essays and poems? How would I influence the people who saw my work if I was happy? I've always said that art needs friction. And when you're in those spaces, all you have is friction and your talent. And honestly, the other part too is 90% of my time was spent sitting in a room by myself. the amount of time I had to make and create things is far different from, my now having a day job and taking care of the kids and the wife and the dogs and trying to find time to write and make videos and, take photos, everything else. It's much, much easier to find the time to do these things when you have nothing else to do but sit and be sad. So what do you do when you're in that hyper creative sad space? I think you have to actively force yourself to take breaks, to not make things, to touch grass and be with people. I think my gateway was honestly just sitting in bars by myself. I would sit at the end of the bar and people watch. I didn't engage much. I just had to be around people. It's also around the time that I met my now wife and found somebody who was a kindred spirit and I can bounce ideas off of, and who actively pushed back on the notion of, suffering for your art and having to, lay on the floor and let life trample you in order to make anything good. And she speaks from experience too. Like, she's been through the things. She'll tell her story. I'm gonna tell you a secret. She's actually working on her YouTube channel now. I'll let you know when it drops, but I think it'll be soon. But when that happens, she can begin to tell her stories. I think another part that is super important in all these scenarios is therapy, if you have access to it. I've been fortunate that I've been with the same therapist for 3 years now, and it has helped a lot. I have a better understanding of who I am, what I am, and why I am, because for an hour a week, I sit down and talk with my therapist and contemplate life. And honestly, if you're a creator, why wouldn't you want to sit in therapy and dig into your own soul and all your own nonsense? It's a nice way to be able to get that thing you get from being sad, that insight and that creativity. You'll get that in therapy. I promise you. Once you figure out who you are and why you are, you don't have to lay on the floor and let life, kick you in the head in order to make something beautiful. I promise you. I also had the benefit of a very robust online community, people I actually call friends. Some of them I've met in real life, some of them I haven't, who have been through similar situations. And before I was able to go to therapy, they were my lifeline. I got to have conversations with these people, and the empathy and the understanding and the how to move forward, a lot of that came from them before I got to go to therapy. Nothing tops therapy, but in lieu of that, find your group of folks who have been where you are where you are, and are actively trying to figure out how to steer the ship into a better course. Because the sad, struggling artist, it sounds cool. It gets tired quick. And if it gets tired of you before you get tired of it, we might lose you. And we don't want that. So I hope that was all helpful. I hope that made some sense. If you are in a space where you are having a mental crisis, by all means, get help. Whether it's calling suicide prevention hotline, therapy, friends, whatever you can do. We'd much rather have you here with us making the things in a happy and healthy space than burning out, making something incredible, and we lose you. It's not fun. Again, the essay about, my time being homeless will be in the description. If you can subscribe to me on Medium, like and subscribe here as well. 98% of y'all are not subscribed, and that makes no sense to me. Like, just hit the button. Just hit the button. Hit the button. Also, I have my affiliate links down there. Dehancer is one of the keys to me making these videos. Their LUTs and their effects are super, super helpful, whether it's grain or halation, whatever you're into to get that film look. Dehancer has it. I'm also working with Track Club for license-free music and sound effects. They are really awesome. They have a wide array of music that has really helped me out with making these videos quite a bit. I love the fact that they have stems available. One video I just used the strings from one song. Another one I'm working on now, I'm just going to use probably the drums. The sound effects have been amazing. And they have a AI sampler, which basically lets me put in any song I want and it'll pull up something similar to it. So I don't have to worry about strikes and all the rest of that. This is not a great ad read. It's actually not an ad read at all. It's just me saying, I can use some money. This stuff is intensive and it takes a lot of work. So if you can use an affiliate link and get something out of it, and I can get a couple dollars, and the affiliate likes me, and you like the product, and the landlord continues to like me, it goes a long way to me continuing to make these videos. And again, my wife is working on her YouTube channel as well. I'll let you know when that's done. I'm pretty much hands off on it. I'm letting her do her thing, but she's dope and it will be dope and everything is dope. Hope everybody is well. Be safe, be happy, and keep creating in safe mental and physical spaces. And again,